All right, what's up, everyone? So, as promised, all right, what's up, everyone? So, as promised, a little bit of a training update. I haven't done one of these in a while. I actually was going to do it last week, but time being time, I guess, and not getting around to it, and things kind of got caught up. I want to give you one today. And so, for those of you who aren't familiar, part of this page was originally made because I wanted to document some of my training, and along the way, it kind of grew with some question and answers, and other random thoughts that come to my head. So I've shared on here. But the idea is, originally I wanted to talk about my goal to eventually become the best athlete I possibly can be. Right. So it's like, how can I give some transparency and share my journey to try and jump as high as humanly possible for myself. That's the idea of this page. And so, at least that was the original idea of why I started making these videos again. And obviously, some things came up for better because we get to talk about cool different things now as well beyond just my training. So, last time I kind of talked about how I got hurt. I got hurt weirdly racking a barbell in this kind of freak, bizarre situation with my shin. It's gotten way better. I'm finally back into jumping. And now my training has been a little bit different. It's been inspired by Dr. Anatoly Bondarchuk. I took the opportunity now because I'm getting back into training to, well, how can I make this, beneficial for myself as well? How can I make this not just about me trying to jump high, but test out new methods and systems that I can enjoy? Dr. Anatoly Bondarchuk methods it's very different. It's about alternating exercises and tracking your outcomes. And then when your jump height begins to peak or plateau, that's when you change your training program up, and you do this in certain weekly cycles based upon your ability to, well, reach new gains and then kind of plateau a little bit. So the key factor there being tracking my jump height. I've done a really bad job of this in the past. Typically, I did it in the form of just trying to see how high I can jump on a basketball hoop, and am I dunking easier? Now, while that kind of is a form of tracking, this new method I'm doing is much more formal. I'm just tracking my ability to jump as high as possible. But the question came up to myself, to what kind of jump height should I track? I don't just want to track counter movement jump because, in my opinion, yeah, it's a great metric, but doesn't take into account the specificity of that of trying to dunk. It's not, there's no ankle contact or foot contact, I should say. It's not very plyometric in nature, and it's kind of slow. And then the other end of that, I was like, well, a drop jump, which is really quick and rapid, is also maybe a little bit too fast. My ground contact time on a 1-2 approach, my 2-foot jumper, isn't 0.15 seconds or 150 milliseconds like a drop jump would be. And it's not, zero point 0.7 seconds, that is, which a counter movement jump would be. And so I'm doing these hop jumps. So it's kind of this weird hybrid counter movement plyometric like jump. They're basically around 350 milliseconds my ground contact time, so much faster than that of a counter movement jump, but much slower than that of a drop jump. But I do it with a pre-hop, and that pre-hop allows me to have some ankle impact. So I kind of found this to be the happy medium for my testing and assessing. Now, so far, progress has been really fun. Remember, I came back kind of hurt, so let's take that with a grain of salt. But I started jumping at 62 centimeters ish, and you guys can do the math at home. That's not high. That's not high at all. And by the way, fun fact: when you start, the way I'm measuring it is through a very specific means. It's very accurate. It's You're not going to get any of these inflated numbers. I'm not going to ever jump 35 or 40 inches using this method because this is actually how high you jump. And most devices that we look at and use don't actually track our jump height in the most honest fashion that we might think it does. Things like the Vertec, where we touch as high as we can, that's often inflated. Certain other devices and mats, I think this research study looking at the jump mat, that's often inflated as well by about 5 inches. It was actually made to be, I believe, it's somewhat parallel to that of the Vertec, which is that thing you jump and touch. So I'm jumping 62 initially when I first started, 62 centimeters, which is like 24 inches. I think it's 2.54 is the conversion. But recently, I just jumped 67.32 or something like that. So it's about a 2.5 inch gain already. in this short time period. My goal is to get to 70. I really want to get to 70, which is very possible. But actually, that 75 range. I really want to get this one hop jump and approach one hop kind of step up to around 30 inches. That'd be really cool if I can get to that 30-inch mark on this hop step. I think if I could get to that 30-inch mark, I could. I mean, I don't know. I really would like to get back on the court. I haven't been able to just due to time. But if I got that hop step into my 30 inches, that 75 centimeters, I'd really be jumping very well. I'd be excited to see what I could do with a higher velocity approach. Again, the idea of this is to use a semi-specific or as close to sport-specific test as possible, which is that hop jump, track my gains over time. Now I'm making progress. We'll see at the end of this week how the gains are going. I'm basically doing the same training session every day for 5-6 days a week. So I'll get about 12 training exposures, and then I can make the adjustment as to whether or not I see my my progress begin to plateau, and then adjust training itself. So the training means are pretty straightforward. I do counter movement jumps to warm up, and then I test it. I do 5 reps to get my best rep in, and then I do some drop kind of depth jumps off of a 18 or 20-inch box. Then I do light counter movement jumps with like 5 pounds on each hand. Then I do a loaded jump, which is like a trap bar jump, and then I'll try to do some sort of Olympic variation, the loose term of that, I guess now. I was doing a high pull, but it's technically an Olympic variation, but pretty light. And then maybe some sort of a strength stimulus once to twice a week. More importantly, doing the isometrics or some sort of loading for the tendons to keep them healthy and happy during this. So we'll keep track of this as we go forward. We have a short time period, a short time sample so far, but now I have some metrics to share with you guys, which is pretty cool. So we started at 62, now we're at 67 plus, and we're gonna hopefully get to 70 within a couple of weeks, and then maybe 75, who knows? We're gonna let this thing ride out, but now that we have metrics to go along with this, there's no guesswork. I think I'm jumping higher, I might be jumping higher. No, we're tracking whether or not we're jumping higher, and then we can make adjustments to our training based on that information. So again, I appreciate you guys listening. I hope you enjoy. Give it a thumbs up. Comment below what methods you like to track. I'd be interested in hearing that. What kind of means and methods are you using to assess whether or not your training program is actually effective? Let's get a discussion down below talking about that, because I think that'd be useful for everyone listening here. I appreciate you guys, and I hope you all enjoy.